All right, so that should be going. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Sarah Lester. I am the wellness manager of Lester National. I am a dietitian and a health coach. And as you know, we just started the wellness program. And so this is an aspect of it. These presentations just help reinforce, the challenges that I present to you guys and kind of explain the why behind it. And so May's theme is about brain health. And so we'll go ahead and get started. So the purpose of this presentation is just to define brain health. It's to discuss the pillars of brain health and provide the Lester community with tools to protect and optimize their brain health, especially in old age. This presentation is relevant to everyone, but it might be relevant to those, going into their 60s, 70s, people who might want to start thinking about really protecting their brains. And just to go over the definition, there are obviously a few different types of brain health. There's cognitive health, and that's really how well you think, you learn and remember. Motor function, that's your control movements, including your balance. Emotional function is how well you interpret and respond to emotions. Tactile function is how well you feel and respond to sensations of touch, such as pressure, pain, and temperature. And today we're really going to focus on cognitive function, but of course all of these functions are equally as important. This just kind of gives a timeline of what your brain function and age. So at age 20, this is when your information recall peaks. So that's some of your memories peaking at age 20. Age 25, this is when your short-term memory peaks, and these numbers are all averages, of course. Age 30 is when your facial recognition peaks, and age 40 to 50 is when your ability to evaluate other people's emotions, that peaks. Age 60 to 70 is your accumulated intelligence. And so as you can see, your brain function, different things peak at different times, which is actually really exciting. Because just because you're in your 50s or 60s doesn't mean that your brain function isn't peaking or it isn't what it used to be. The older you get, you still have some of these wonderful brain functions that are peaking, such as, of course, your accumulated intelligence. Yeah.
Ron, there's still hope for us. I'm telling you. I'm looking and I'm outside her window, so mine must have peaked and fell off the cliff.
And so then cognitive decline, which is, again, the brain function that has to do with thinking and, your higher functioning, that, some degree of cognitive decline as we age, of course, is normal. We're going to have problems remembering things, recalling words, recalling memories. But then once it gets to Alzheimer's and dementia, that's when it's considered a more severe form of cognitive decline. And those are the forms that we want to avoid. So Alzheimer's is actually a type of dementia. Dementia is an umbrella term for cognitive decline. And so when you see these words, they aren't necessarily interchangeable, but Alzheimer's is just a more defined form of cognitive decline. And so unfortunately, it's extremely prevalent. 1 in 3 seniors dies with Alzheimer's or another form of dementia. 1 in 9 people aged 65 and older has Alzheimer's dementia, and these statistics are for the U.S. And as you can see, that's pretty high, and it is a leading cause of death is Alzheimer's. And so a question that I had when researching this was, how can you tell the difference between some cognitive decline and then getting to Alzheimer's and dementia? And that really is, if you're having big personality changes, if you're not able to, do the daily activities of living as well, that's when your severe cognitive decline might be Alzheimer's or dementia. But of course, you have to go to a doctor. And so the risk factors for cognitive decline in general, research suggests that approximately 50% of Alzheimer's disease may be related to these risk factors, such as having type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, if you have obesity, if you smoke, depression, little or no mental physical activity, or little or no physical activity. And so, as you can see, many of these are lifestyle factors that you can modify to make sure that you are being healthier. So, although there is a genetic component to cognitive decline, there also are factors that you can control. So the 6 pillars of brain health, it's physical activity, food and nutrition, sleep and relaxation, mental fitness, social interaction, and medical health. And so these are the pillars that we're going to go through, and I'm going to give you examples of what the science says and what you can do to protect your health. So the first one is physical activity, and this is the pillar that connects us to our challenge this month, which is just walking 2 hours a day. So if regular exercise preserves existing brain cells while supporting the growth of new ones, and exercise has been shown to slow the shrinkage of the part of the brain associated with memory. And so it's recommended that you get at least 150 minutes of cardio or strength training per week. And this could include walking, and so that's why I included that walking as our wellness challenge. And obviously, the more you do, the better. Ideally, aim for 30 or more minutes of physical activity per day in the form of a walk, a bike ride, strength training, stretching, yoga. But exercise is really important in keeping your brain healthy. And the younger you start, the better, but it's never too late. Food and nutrition, my area of expertise. There's a lot of data linking diet to brain health. And so when you're eating a poor diet, it increases the risk of inflammation, and it increases the risk of developing chronic illnesses associated with cognitive decline. When I was in school, I was taught that Alzheimer's was kind of like the type 2 diabetes of the brain, because it really is associated with what you're eating. And if you're eating a diet that's, the American standard diet, the standard American diet, which is, high in red meat and sugar and refined grains, you're going to increase the risk of developing high blood pressure, diabetes, and you're just going to really put strain on your brain. And so a Mediterranean diet has been linked to a healthier brain, and that is a diet rich in fish, poultry, leafy greens, vegetables, fruits, nuts, seeds, and whole grains, and as well as low-fat dairy. And then the Mediterranean diet is low in red meat, processed foods, sodium, added sugar, and refined grains. And unfortunately, in America, the standard American diet is really high in all the things that the Mediterranean diet is supposed to be low in. And just general other tips: stack your plate full of berries and leafy greens. They have wonderful antioxidants for your brain. And spice your food with turmeric. That is a spice they use in India. In India, they have very low rates of cognitive decline or Alzheimer's, and it's because turmeric is a great antioxidant. Okay. So the next one is sleep and relaxation, and this is a really interesting statistic. As many as 15% of cases of Alzheimer's are attributable to long-term poor quality sleep. And then chronic stress has been associated with accelerated cognitive decline and poor cognitive function. And so it's really important that you are getting the sleep that you need. It's important that you are employing some of the stress management techniques that I've talked about in previous presentations, because your stress and your sleeping habits do catch up with you. And it might not be in the form of Alzheimer's, but you just might have some sort of cognitive decline. And so it's really important to try to get at least 7 hours of sleep per night. Really prioritize that. And to practice stress management tools such as meditation or exercise, or taking a walk, taking a few minutes a day for yourself to make sure that you are grounded and you're just able to cope with everything that's happening in your life. So definitely prioritizing your sleep and your relaxation. Take your vacation days, relax on the weekend. It's important for your brain health. So mental fitness, this is kind of like use it or lose it. So people who continue to learn preserve their brain health. I know a lot of sometimes older people, they might be more isolated. They might not be reading or working anymore, and so their cognitive decline is accelerated just because of that. But this is great for also younger people, just to continue always to learn, to seek out novel experiences. You can pick up a new hobby or skill, learning a new language or instrument, or maybe it's a physical activity. You can always study, so you can take a class, go back to school, get some certification, enroll in a program. Continue to play games, crossword puzzles, chess, card games, or, any game, a board game, something that just gets you involved mentally. That's important because it really is use it or lose it. So, think of your brain as a muscle that you need to work out. And so I know everyone at Leicester, everyone's working, so they are using it. But just as you get older, it's important to continue to use your brain. And then also creativity is really important as well. And then, of course, social interaction. Humans thrive on social interaction. And it's interesting, a lot of the blue zones where people are living to be really old, such as Okinawa off the coast of Japan, there have been studies and it shows that they have really great family social units. And so an aspect of living longer is just to maintain your close relationships. And so people who stay socially active may suffer from fewer memory problems. They're more involved in their communities. They're more fulfilled in their life. And so this, of course, is, social interaction is important at any stage in our life. And so it's really important to continue to invest in your relationships. If you don't have any close friends or family, it's really great to meet new friends by joining a club, by joining a sports league, finding a new hobby. Maybe you want to volunteer somewhere. And this is just a great way to get social interaction. And also having a pet, that also is a form of social interaction and counts. So you can always get a dog or a cat, something that just, you're interacting with another being is really important. And then the last pillar, I believe, is medical health. And so if you do have any chronic illnesses, particularly the ones that I showed in one of the first slides, such as diabetes or high blood pressure, work with your doctor to manage any of these illnesses and make sure you're taking your medication and just doing everything you need to be doing, because they are all so connected. The chronic illnesses really connect to all parts of the body and can affect the brain, of course. And so it's important just to manage those. And the big one, of course, is to stop smoking if you do that, and manage weight by eating balanced meals and engaging in daily physical activity. So the takeaways from this presentation, I really want to emphasize that even though there is a genetic component to cognitive decline, if you consistently engage in healthy behaviors, you can preserve and improve your function. And that's a really exciting idea, that we have some sort of degree of control over our cognitive function. And so, eating balanced meals, the Mediterranean diet, leafy greens, whole grains, fruits, fish, nuts, focusing on, eating whole foods instead of packaged foods or desserts or refined grains, exercising 30 minutes a day, just get your body moving. Gardening can count, chores can count, but, really try to get in just 30 minutes of something to get your body moving and your heart rate up. Prioritizing sleep, maintaining relationships, and just continuing to learn throughout your lifetime. And these will all help preserve your cognitive function. And this brings us to the May Wellness Challenge. And so it already began on Monday, but the challenge is to walk 2 hours per week. You may substitute walking with another form of exercise. Someone already emailed me if cycling could be substituted. And absolutely, the idea is just to get everyone exercising, because that was a pillar of brain health. And so whatever exercise you're doing, it counts. I just really want you to get at least 2 hours a week, but the more you do, the better. You can never, there's a balance, but the more you exercise, the more benefits you're going to get. and you track your exercise with your phone, a timer, a watch. I don't really get involved in tracking. Track however you want, and just it's the honor system. So if you do it, let me know, and I'll give you points. And you just report to me at the end of the month. And that's it. Thank you guys for joining me.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
So about the 30 minutes of exercise, does that have to be continuous or can it be cumulative in the day?
Thank you for asking that. It can be cumulative. So cumulative. So you can do 10 minutes 3 times a day, or however you want to break it down. It does not have to be all at the same time, because I know everybody's really busy, and so it might be that you only have 10 minutes during your lunch break. You can go on a walk or do some push-ups. So break it down as best that's easy for you. Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah.
Also, from a
That's
question.
awesome.
John
Thank
has
you,
a
Sarah.
John, what's your question?
When you said walking counts as exercise, is it just walking maybe like down the road, or could it be, is it more specific towards like walking uphill or taking a hike?
Yeah, walking in general, you can walk in general. Ideally, though, you would be walking more briskly just to get your heart rate up, and you would do a more challenging terrain. But it's really about your athletic ability. If walking just down the road at a slow pace is all you can do, then that is much better than nothing. But if you are walking, you want to put some pep in your step, because that really just helps get your heart rate up, and that's when you're going to get the benefits. All right.
Mark has a question.
Oh, yeah, Mark. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was on meditation. Have you found any studies that helps with brain, development, maintaining?
Yes, so meditation absolutely does. It helps prevent some cognitive decline. It also is stress management, so that's kind of how it relates to it. And yeah, I've read some really interesting things how it can alter the structure of your brain if you're doing it regularly enough in a positive way, and it prevents the negative effects of aging when you do it consistently. So meditation is also a wonderful way to protect your brain, and really just to all around to protect your mind, body, spirit. So that is a great point, that meditation is also super useful.
Now, how about Joe here in the Mill Valley office? He stands most of the time. He has a standing desk.
Mm-hmm.
So can you talk about the benefits of what Joe's getting every day when he goes to work?
Thanks, Robert.
Standing is much better than sitting. And so I think a lot of the reason why Americans have increased rates of all these chronic illnesses is that we sit all day long, and that's really poor for our health. So I don't know about the exact benefits of standing, but I do know that is much better than sitting, and that we as humans are not supposed to be sitting all day long. So standing definitely has that added benefit. And I'm sure it offers some sort of protection. I'm not sure, exactly what, but it's much better than sitting. And so a standing desk is also just a great way, another thing to add to be a little bit healthier, for sure. All right. Well, thank you for everyone for joining me.
Thank you, Sarah.
And if you have any questions about this, let me know. Yeah, I appreciate you taking the time to join me today.
Thank you.
Sarah.
Great job.
Awesome job. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Everyone.
Bye-bye.
guys
Thank you
later.
so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.